Hello everybody, I want to show you some of the new stuff I got this week, but first I want to tell you a little story that happened today. It's Friday, it's raining out, and I had seen one Craigslist garage sale post that said they had video games. Didn't have any other type of detail about it, just video games. So it was about 20 minutes away. They had posted their phone number. I tried calling, they didn't answer their phone, and I was like, you know what, I'll just give it a shot. So I get out there, and I'm about 20 minutes early, and they had set up a little bit of stuff, but it was covered up with tarps because it was raining. And I was thinking, oh, maybe, you know, they're still going to try to do it, because at that exact time it wasn't raining. So I waited for a few minutes, like parked down the street a little bit and kind of drove around. And I see a guy come out of the house, and I quickly, you know, pull up, and I was like, hey, I saw you guys had video games listed. Are you still going to do your garage sale today at all? And we kind of talked for a few minutes, and he was basically saying, like, no, I'm not going to do the garage sale, but I do have games. And I was like, well, I drove like 20 minutes to get here. If you're interested in showing me what you have, you know, I'm interested in buying. So he said, yeah, sure. So I get out of the car, and he opens his garage door, and he has a lot of stuff. They needed, I guess, to be out of that place really soon, so they were trying to get rid of a lot of things. And I see like a massive stack of 360 game cases and like a PS2, and I was like, okay, so he has, you know, a decent amount of game stuff. And first thing is he starts trying to sell me some clothes, and I told him I was interested in video games, and he's like, hey man, I got all these clothes, I don't know what size you are, but you know, maybe you'd be interested. And then he started showing me some like china, like a whole dinner set, and I was like, no, just the games. And so then all the game cases were empty, and he kept all the games in like binders, and he had like PS2, 360, PS3, and like PSP stuff in like different binders. And I'm trying to get an idea of like, you know, what he's asking, you know, what he wants for them, and I'm like, can I look through these stacks? And he goes, oh well, those are all empty. That's where I just store my game cases. And I saw a handful of games that between either those cases or in those manual or in the binders that I'd be interested in. And I asked, you know, well, what are the game prices? And he basically said, well, I'll probably do the PS2 stuff all for $10 each. And my heart already started to sink. And then he said for like the 360 and PS3 stuff, it would be like $20 or more a game. And he had some good titles. I mean, there was like a Dark Cloud in there for like PS2, and he had like a copy of like the Orange Box and like Left 4 Dead 1 and 2, and so, you know, he had some decent stuff, but a lot of it was like racing titles and Call of Duties and other like first-person shooters. A lot of games that were not in the even $10 range, and definitely were not in the $20 or $30 range, even if you went to go buy them at GameStop. So I had already sort of wrote everything off in my mind that I'm not buying anything here, and I didn't want to like piss him off because he was taking the time to, you know, show me everything. We got to talking, and he apparently has like 500 plus PlayStation games and multiple toys and things in like storage. And he reminded me of the main guy, the main blonde-haired dude from the Trailer Park Boys, like the TV show or the movies they did. He was similar to that without the accent. And he basically just like, man, fuck it, man, I just fucking collect and fuck this. And I was like, alright, you know, so it was almost really cool, because I thought we were going to maybe get to look at the PlayStation games. I thought he was going to pull them out, but like the original PlayStation, but he said that he really wasn't looking to sell that stuff. And I have a feeling, going by the other prices, you know, it wasn't going to be cheap. So I want to tell that story because basically I found like a game collector's house that he didn't want to sell anything. His girlfriend apparently wanted him to sell it, and it ended up being a bust. So not all of my garage sale trips are good in the sense I pick up stuff, but I know the guy's phone number, and I know where he lives, and he sort of said that if I wanted to swing back by, maybe he'd go through the PlayStation stuff and find some things that he wasn't so interested in. I have a feeling, you know, he's not going to have all the rare RPGs or anything, but maybe he'd have some of the, you know, decent Spyro titles or something like that. Who knows? So yeah, today I did not get anything at a garage sale. All this stuff is stuff I've picked up over the last week, either at my work, through eBay. There was one Craigslist, like, guy I talked to on Craigslist that I met up with and bought a few things from, but So this is all stuff I'm keeping for myself. I got De Blob and De Blob 2. I never played these. I waited for them to go way, way down in price, and I kind of forgot about them, but I went ahead and picked these up. It was like, I think, $5 and $8, $7, something like that. So those were good deals. I am buying from Aaron that copy of Grand Theft Auto on Game Boy that he picked up at the flea market last weekend. I thought I might have owned it, but I did not. I own the Game Boy Advance one, so that was kind of cool. From that Craigslist deal I mentioned that I did, basically, I went to go buy, it's another bummer story, so I'll keep this one short too. I went to go look at a Sega CD system, like the model that you attach the Genesis on with the big ass tray, which I really wasn't looking for, but I thought maybe, you know, if it was cheap. I went to go see that and some games. Basically, he had parts of the system, of the systems, because he also brought like another Genesis. They didn't have the cords, they didn't have controllers. The games he had were and I basically just bought a couple things because I didn't want to drive all the way to where I went and not get anything. So I bought a boxed complete copy of Bubsy 2, and I bought Sonic and the Sonic and Knuckles little expansion thingy. For both of those, technically I guess all three items were $5. So like less than $2 a piece. But yeah, that was a bummer because I was kind of hoping to get a Sega CD out of the deal. He said he would keep me in touch if he finds like his other game stuff, which was like Super Nintendo's, and I think he said like some regular Nintendo stuff, but oh well. I'm picking up some more Spyro stuff for my collection. I got The Legend of Spyro, The Eternal Night, and Spyro, A Hero's Tale. These were actually traded in complete in like brand new condition at my store. So that was cool. Those were very cheap as well. And then I got Gregory Horror Show, which I just realized that I forgot to look up who the actual YouTube name of who I bought this from. So give me 1 second. Okay, his channel name is 9HS9HS9. He doesn't have any videos up on his channel though. He sent me a message asking if I would be interested in Gregory Horror Show. He's from the UK. This game never made it out in North America. I had heard of the cartoon. It's based off of a Japanese cartoon, but I never knew they put a game out for it. It's a quirky horror title. It takes place like in a haunted house. The characters are all very like block-shaped. I like this dude right over here. It's like a dog man with a hatchet buried in his head. So some very interesting characters. It's complete, has the manual. He gave it to me basically for the price if I wanted to buy it off of eBay. I mean, the shipping costs more than this game does. It's a fairly cheap game. But I am all about trying to get PAL games, you know, that never made it out here, especially if they're, you know, full English released versions like this one is. So that was very cool. I think this brings my total up to around like 14 PAL PS2 games or so. And next is another Saturn game to check off of my list. It is Clockwork Knight 2. Part 2 is a little more expensive and harder to find than the first Clockwork Knight. I've actually had like 3 or 4 copies of the first Clockwork Knight now over the last like year and a half, 2 years. So I was happy to grab this one. It's in really good shape except I think, oh yeah, the case, like the hinge is broken on the case, but I can easily replace that at some time in the near future. I think I even have a couple of like Sega CD or Sega Saturn game cases out there. Next, this is kind of funny. I picked up, and I was surprised to see that they actually put this out like on disc, and it was pretty much the only way they would send it to the store is if I had pre-ordered it. This is the only copy we got. It's the Final Fantasy XI Ultimate Collection Seekers Edition. Like I said, I was really surprised that they actually are still willing to put out on disc anything to do with Final Fantasy XI. Maybe they're just trying to, you know, get any money they can right now in the sense of finally getting Final Fantasy XIV to come out on the PS3. But I grabbed this, and this is almost more of like sentimental. I don't even know, like, I don't have a active account right now for Final Fantasy XI, but my wife, Katie, played Final Fantasy XI for 4 or 5 years. I mean, for a really long time. I played it for a few years. It was the only MMO that I ever really spent time on. And I'm just trying to rub off some sticker goo as I'm talking to you. But, yeah, I'm rubbing off sticker goo because they didn't realize, I guess, I had this pre-ordered, and they opened it and stuck it out on the sales floor with a price sticker on it, and I quickly had to grab it. But, yeah, like I said, I don't know if we'll ever actually jump back in and play this, but I sort of bought it just for, like, the fact I own Final Fantasy XI on PS2, on the PC, one of the only PC games I've ever actually owned and played, by the way, and then owned it on 360. And this is my copy of the Ultimate Collection that came out years ago, which I never used any of these codes, because at that time, we were actually still playing it on the PS2, and we had it all installed on there, and we just never really jumped over to the 360, but I bought the 360 version because... Well, actually, I bought this twice. I bought when it first released on 360 and then the Ultimate Edition, because I was thinking that maybe we could both play at the same time on different systems or whatever, but then our schedules just got so screwed up. So I'm actually going to sell this. I'll probably take it to the flea market this weekend. Everything in here, like, I've never used anything out of this one, none of the, like, installation codes or whatever. It is basically had the shrink wrap taken off and then has sat there. So, sort of sad that after looking at that we don't play it anymore, but whenever 14 gets fixed, in the sense of actually going to be on the PS3 and not be a clusterfuck of a game anymore, I do plan on giving that one a try, at least for a little bit. But yeah, so I grabbed that, and I picked up the strategy guide for Luigi's Dark Moon. My story's been sold out of the game consistently, and this was the last strategy guide we had. And I do like to pick up strategy guides for certain types of games. Mario, one of them, being one of them. I have most strategy guides for Mario or the spin-off Mario games. And then, last but definitely not least, a fairly large purchase, but I ended up getting this for about $100 less than it goes for. And this is one of the most expensive PlayStation games. It is the Misadventures of Tron Bon, and besides a couple cracks on the jewel case on the front, you don't even think... Oh, there you go. You can kind of tell right there. It is, like, brand new. Both discs are perfect. The manual is in really great shape. So I was happy to get this for the price that I paid. Which still wasn't cheap. I mean, obviously, if I said that, oh, it was $100 cheaper than what it normally goes for, that's still not very cheap. But I'm trying to get into the Mega Man games a little bit more, and my favorite system of all time is the original PlayStation. So I'm trying to get, like, I got Tron Bon, I want to get Legends and Legends 2. I owned a Greatest Hits copy of the first Legends, and I sold that because for PlayStation I like to have all the Black Label stuff. Yeah, so I should be actually getting the 2 Legends games very soon as well, and then I want to get the Anniversary Collection and that stuff, like on the PS2 or GameCube. I haven't really decided yet which system I want to get it for. But I'm putting another foot into the Mega Man universe and trying to take another step in there and play some of these games. So that's it. This was just like the last week, not a ton of stuff, but as long as it stops fucking raining tomorrow's supposed to be a pretty heavy garage sale day. I have 1, 2, 3 that I know have games where I actually have communicated with people at the garage sale. And there's a big, like, community garage sale going on with, like, over 100 people being involved in it. It's going to be in a park, like, in downtown, so I'm looking forward to that. Maybe find something there. So it should be a long garage sale day. I'm thinking I'm going to be out till at least noon, maybe even 1 o'clock. But that is it for now. Thank you all for watching. Please thumbs up the video, and I will talk to you all tomorrow. Peace.